Hello, everyone. In honor of Ian Machado Garry this Friday, we are rating some of the most soy fighters here in the UFC. I'm going to have a set of tiers for you guys on the screen in a few seconds. So, without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. Starting off with the inspiration to this tier list, we have Ian Machado Garry. He's going in straight into the king of the soys. Uh, There is a lot to say about Ian Gary, and I've tried my best to refrain from calling him the word cuck. But there are clips of him recently going around talking to a bunch of black men about how he wants to be black in front of his wife conveniently, about how they have better genetics and some shit like that. Also, he lets his ex-husband kind of dictate what he eats and what's not, because if you guys don't know, Ian Gary's wife, she has an ex-husband who is now Ian Gary's nutritionist, and that nutritionist is dictating what Ian Machado can eat in order to compete in the UFC. I think those things alone kind of sets him apart from every other person that I'm going to be talking about, and therefore he is going to stand alone here as king of the soys. Up next, we have Sean O'Malley. Dude is unbearably soy. He lets his friends fuck his wife. Like it's not like an Ian Gary situation where like it's kind of assumed pretty much, but he genuinely lets his friends fuck his wife. So already he is unbearably soy. The only difference is I don't find Sean O'Malley nearly as obnoxious as Ian Gary, because Sean O'Malley, he doesn't really talk that much shit all that well. So in a way, I kind of forget about it sometimes. But yeah, he is a certified cuck, and but other than that, he's not really doing anything though. So, but still, being a cuck alone, I think, has to put you at an unbearably soy level. Up next, we have Colby Covington. Dude is pretty soy, especially lately. He's been talking shit to a lot of people despite coming off 3 losses and being completely irrelevant. And it kind of all started with his Leon Edwards fight. Like, in his fight with Leon Edwards, he was talking so much egregious shit. Like, I believe he was talking shit about Leon Edwards' dead dad and how he was like gunned down due to gang violence. And Colby Covington, after proceeding to make those remarks, he then decided to not fight Leon Edwards at all. Like, listen, I'm all for trash talk, but I want to see a fight more than anything. If you're not fighting and you're just talking shit, you're no better than fucking Aiden Ross or Neon in my eyes. So, in my opinion, I'm gonna say that Colby Covington, he's extremely soy, and I was gonna put him in the unbearably soy tier, but it's just that there are a lot more soy people in the UFC. But make no mistake, dude is pretty soy in my opinion. Up next, we have Sean Strickland. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. I'm gonna only fight seriously when I'm fighting influencers who have never boxed in their entire lives, or like amateur boxers who are like 4 weight classes below me. Yeah, like this guy is the definition of a gym bully, and in my opinion, that is soy. That is very soy. Against anyone around his weight class who can actually pose a threat to him, he resorts to just jabbing and teeping for 25 minutes straight, and he never deviates from that path. Yet, for some reason, his fans herald him as this true American champion. I don't get it. I did think though that his fight with Israel Adesanya was fun because of all the allegations regarding Adesanya, mostly about his dog. But ever since then, Sean Strickland has turned into a soy boy, and I'm not gonna put him at the Colby Covington level because I don't find him nearly as annoying, but he isn't that far off. So he does have a lot of soy tendencies, but at the same time, I do find his jokes funny from time to time. It's just that most of the times now, He's just really irritating to listen to, and his fights just simply don't justify the amount of shit he talks. Moving on to the chat tier. Now, the chat tier is straight up for people on the opposite spectrum of Ian Machado Garry. And we're going to start off with the guy that beat Ian Machado Garry, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, Shavkat Rakhmonov, he beat this fucking cuck over here. And I think that automatically makes him a Chad. But even without that, he's 18-0. He piped Lorosenko. And he has a whole nation behind him. When's the last time you heard Ireland support Ian Machado Garry? If anything, even people from Ireland think he's a fucking cuck. So uh, I think those are all of the polar opposite spectrums that Shavkat Rakhmonov has that opposes Ian Garry, and therefore I believe that Shavkat Rakhmonov is a Chad. And also, Shavkat Rakhmonov, in a way, shut this fucking cuck up for a bit because that was when Ian Machado Garry first lost. And I'll say this now. Shavkat Rakhmonov, he should get the title shot before you, Ian Garry. Like, I know Ian Garry's been on a delusional rant about how he deserves a title shot if he beats Carlos Prates. Let me tell you, that is fucking delusional. And because Shavkat Rakhmonov literally just beat you 4 months ago. So yeah, thank you, Shavkat Rakhmonov. We don't have to listen to this fucking retarded cuck rant about why he deserves a title shot. And yeah, hopefully, Shavkat Rakhmonov, please get the title shot before Ian Machado Garry. Please, I just don't want to see this fucking cuck get a title shot. Please. All right, moving back up to the unbearably soy tier, we have Israel Adesanya. Now, he has dialed it back a bit, but during Izzy's prime, and when I mean Izzy's prime, it's more like the when he first fought Pereira and the Sean Strickland fight right after. He was unbearably soy, unbearable. Like in the first fight with Alex Pereira, where Izzy got knocked out in the fifth round. Like Izzy's just coming out here saying like, "Oh my arms feel like noodles" or some shit like that. That's why I lost to Alex Pereira. Like, buddy, all right, then what happened to the other two times where Alex Pereira knocked you out in Glory Kickboxing? All right, like he makes a bunch of excuses like that. He also follows dog fetish dog fetish sites on Twitter. I'm sorry, dog fetish accounts on Twitter. And I think that's very soy. Like not even Ian Garry is following dog fetish accounts on Twitter. So it is very soy for that to happen. And also, uh dude got dropped by Sean Strickland. Unironically, like the influencers that Sean Strickler only seriously fights. And yeah, as great of a champion as Izzy was, at the same time, Izzy, he's very annoying and unbearably so, which is why I'm gonna put him in the unbearably soy tier. Moving on to the moderately soy tier, we have Anthony Lionheart Smith. Dude is just straight up delusional at times to an unhealthy extent. He's like saying that John Jones isn't that good as he gets whooped by John Jones for 5 straight rounds. Like if John Jones isn't that good, then I don't know what Smith is, to be honest, because Smith was getting whooped for 5 straight rounds. And he lost to Roman Dolidze. Not like Roman Dolidze like knocked him out or anything. He got out techniqued by sloppy man Roman Dolidze. That's not a great look. I think that's awful, to be honest. And also the fact that okay, I don't want to pick on him for like his coach passing away because that's kind of personal shit. I'm not going after him for that. What I am going after him for is the fact that every time Smith loses, he never gives his opponents credit. He always says something like, "Oh, Roman Dolizzi, he's a stylistic nightmare for me," or like, "Oh, Dominic Reyes, like, I just didn't feel like myself out there against Reyes that night. My coach died that night, and like, I think that's why Reyes won. Reyes won that night. Like, bro, you're not that good. Everyone in the top 10 beat you, Anthony Smith. So I don't understand where this delusional cope is coming from. And quite frankly, that makes you soy. So Yeah, I think uh you being a tier list with Covington kind of fits you well. Moving on to the soy tendencies, we have Jordan Levitt. Now, I don't normally call people who are soy gay because you don't have to necessarily be gay to be soy. Like, take for example Peyton Talbot. I think he's cool, despite him being like very gay, and I got no issue with that. But Jordan Levitt out here quirking on other men for his victory celebration. All right, fair enough, fair enough. That's his own victory celebration. But can you not be any more sus than twerking on other men for a victory celebration? I'm just saying. And also, if you listen to this guy's interviews, very zesty talk and very sus. I'm not gonna say it's a wrong thing, but it's just very sus. And also, when Jordan Levitt loses, he kind of gasses himself out, and that kind of tells the soy boy. It kind of falls under the soy boy category, where like you kind of start off strong, but then like as soon as the pressure gets to you, you kind of quit. Not saying that I would be better in that situation. It's just that I noticed that in Jordan Levitt a lot of times. Again, is he soy compared to these guys above him? Not necessarily, but he does have soy tendencies. Therefore, I put Jordan Levitt here on this tier. Now, moving down to the Chad tier, we have Carlos Prates. Now, this guy is the polar opposite of Ian Gary, and it fits because Carlos Prates is going to be fighting Ian Gary tomorrow. Carlos Prates, he actually is from Brazil, and he is cool, whereas Ian Gary is trying to fit himself into Brazil, and he's fucking soy as shit. I believe that Carlos Prates, his whole gimmick about smoking cigarettes and drinking a whiskey, it's honestly pretty cool that he's still knocking everyone out in the first or second round, despite having all of those, I guess, bad habits. Whereas Ian Gary, he's like, oh, I gotta be a perfect vegan, and like, oh, I gotta listen to my wife's ex husband as my wife's ex husband rails Layla Machado from the back, and alright, I gotta stop now, but regardless, I think Carlos Prates is just a Chad, and he's gonna knock out Ian Gary this coming Saturday. I really hope I'm right. I don't want to see Ian Gary win. I just don't like. I try to like Ian Gary, but then every time Ian Gary does some shit, I'm like, all right, this is. I forget. This is why I don't like Ian Gary. And yeah, I'm just gonna say that Carlos Prates is the polar opposite of Ian Gary. Therefore, Carlos Prates is a straight up Chad in my eyes. Moving on to the unbearably soy tier, we have John Bones Jones. Now, I think it's pretty soy that you're calling a fellow heavyweight a total asshole, but then you're not trying to call him out to a fight. That's just me, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. I think if John Jones really hated Tom Aspinall, I think he would have in his best interest to fight him. And this isn't even me mentioning the fact that Tom Aspinall is the interim champion of the heavyweight division. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but John Jones, he's actively ducking Tom Aspinall, and it's getting frustrating to a point where you got to question whether or not John Jones is the GOAT or not because, again, he's actively avoiding a matchup that is a threat to him. Okay? Like, we've never seen John Jones fight someone where, like, oh, wow, this guy can actually beat John Jones. Like, I know Reyes happened where Reyes whooped John Jones' ass for 3 rounds, but Reyes wasn't expected to beat John Jones. Let's be real. I think the fact that John Jones, every time he meets a threat, I think he's gonna actively duck it, and that makes him unbearably soy in my eyes. Henceforth, he belongs in a tier with this cuck over here and the dog fetisher. Up next, we have the moderately soys. We have Yair Rodriguez, similar to a John Jones situation. Uh, this guy has a public beef with someone in his division in Diego Lopez. But rather than fighting, Diego Lopez, Yair Rodriguez is like, oh, you're disrespecting me, therefore I won't fight you. I'm sorry, like you guys are both professional fighters in the top five of your respective division, yet for some reason, calling them out is way beneath you. I don't understand. Maybe it's probably because he believes that Diego Lopez is gonna whoop his ass. But yeah, Yair Rodriguez also he's been demanding title shots coming off of one win to unranked Patricio Pitbull. Like, bro, like you're making me advocate for a Movsar Evloev title shot. Do you know how hard of a soy you have to be in order for me to advocate for a Movsar Evloev title shot? Yeah, it's just unbearably annoying. I was gonna put him up here, but compared to these guys, I don't find him as annoying. But he is pretty annoying, which is why he's pretty soy in my eyes. Moving down to soy tendencies, we have Khalil Roundtree. Now, Khalil Roundtree, his fight style is amazing to watch. I have a lot of fun watching Khalil Roundtree fight. But there is a clip of Khalil Roundtree at UFC 313 where he's about to fry his eyes out because Alex Pereira lost to Magomed Ankalaev. Very awkward, very weird, kind of soy in my opinion. But I'm not gonna put him up here because unlike most of these guys, minus Sean O'Malley, uh, Khalil Roundtree, he goes out there to brawl, and in my opinion, I think that kind of eliminates you from being a soy in the first place. But make no mistake, Khalil Roundtree does have soy tendencies. It's just that he's not I can't call him a soy because again, he fights like a madman in there. Moving on, we have the guy who's going to retire John Jones without even fighting him, Tom Aspinall. I think that achievement alone makes this guy a Chad because he's having the greatest fighter of all time shit his britches and actively not fight. When have you ever heard that in the sport of boxing throughout its 100 years or any other combat sport in general? When have you heard the greatest fighter of all time actively duck a challenger because they pose too much of a threat to their legacy? I think that reason alone makes Tom Aspinall a Chad. And also, Tom Aspinall fought everyone in the heavyweight division, something John Jones has never done. John Jones has only fought 42-year-old Stipe Miocic, whereas Tom Aspinall is fighting the active top five contenders of the heavyweight division, and he even defended his interim belt, which I believe is a Chad move on his end, because that makes him undeniable. And Tom Aspinall's made it clear that he will fight anybody as long as for the undisputed belt. So, in my eyes, Tom Aspinall, certified alpha male, certified Chad, certainly not a John Jones in my eyes, and which is why I respect him. Moving on to this fucking gremlin over here, Mario Bautista. Now, I've heard in interviews this guy has been coping about the fact that a lot of fans have been giving him shit for his performance against Jose Aldo. You know, he was comparing himself to Marab like Marab did it. So why are you guys shitting on me? Let me tell you something, Mario Bautista. When Marab was kind of holding Jose Aldo up against the fence, first off, Marab completely neutralized Jose Aldo's offense to a point where Jose Aldo couldn't even land a strike. Every time you guys separated from the clinch against the fence, Jose Aldo was whooping your ass, and they still gave you the fight for some reason. And also, you can't say that Jose Aldo should have done a better job getting off the cage when you're getting your ass whooped whenever when you're not holding him up against the cage. That I'm sorry, that's just me. That's just me. There's 8 minutes 8 or 9 minutes of Mario Bautista holding Jose Aldo up against the cage, and every time they separated, Jose Aldo was piecing that ass up. So that's unbearably soy in my eyes. Please, Cheeto Vera, knock this fucking gremlin out. Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen, but still, he is unbearably soy, which is why I pray on this guy's downfall. Moving on, we got this fucking Frenchie over here, Cyril God. No, no, no. We cannot fight anybody in the top five. I deserve a title shot. No, no, no. I will not fight Espinal for the interim title. Uh, you must give it to Sergey Pavlovich, and then I will fight him for the undisputed title. Yeah, Zero Gone. Yeah, you can't keep ducking everyone who's below you in the rankings, especially when you're coming off a loss to the current champion in John Jones. And also the way you looked against John Jones, where it honestly looked fixed. I know it's not fixed, but it was so one sided that I would not be surprised if you called it a fixed fight because Cyril Gahn, once the fight hit the ground, he did nothing. Like literally nothing. Actually, no, no, no. He did worse than nothing. He actively helped John Jones get mounted guillotine. Like I don't understand how Cyril Gahn doesn't understand Jiu-Jitsu 101. Like this guy had no urgency to get back up to his feet. He had no urgency to set up frames whenever John Jones would try to put side control pressure on him. Cyril Gahn actively helped John Jones submit him by pulling him in whenever John Jones mounted him. I don't understand that. And I think that's quite frankly soy because it just shows that Cyril Gahn, it, he just doesn't fucking work hard or anything, especially on the ground. And also the fact that he's so entitled. Like he only fights people in Paris. Other than Volkov, he clearly lost to Volkov, but he's still demanding for an interim title shot against Tom Aspinall. Like I don't, I, I, I just don't understand Cyril Gahn. Again, he's very annoying in my eyes. I just don't find him as annoying as these four guys up here. So I'm gonna say that Cyril Gahn, he is very soy, but he's just not up here, which is why he's down here. Moving on to soy tendencies, we have Michael Chandler. Michael, see you at the top, Chandler. Conor McGregor has his nuts hanging over Chandler's face for the last 2, 3 years. Like this dude has been sucking Conor McGregor's dick since ChatGPT was released. That is a very long time now. And even now, after it's clear that McGregor's not coming back because McGregor would rather uh campaign himself to be the president of Ireland before coming back to the UFC. Chandler is still promoting this fight as if it's actually going to happen. I think at this point, Chandler is just begging for a red penny night, and he will do anything to please Conor McGregor. And I think that is very soy, in my opinion. Now, the only reason Chandler isn't up here is because Chandler actually has fun fights, and he actually goes all in a lot of his fights to a fault, which is which is really funny because he just looks like a retard sometimes. But again, Chandler, the fact that you're sucking off Conor McGregor's balls for like 2, 3 years when it's clear that Conor McGregor clearly does not care to fight you is pretty soy. I'm not gonna call you a complete soy boy because again, you do fight like a madman. It's just that yeah, Conor McGregor, you should not be waiting 2 years to fight Conor McGregor, in my opinion. But that's just me. Last but not least, we get to the Russian Terminator, my Pookie Bear, Peter Yan. Now, I fully believe that Peter Yan beat Sean O'Malley in their fight. I fully believe that Peter Yan, he saved his career from a three-fight skid after losing to Marab. He came back, beat Song Yadong. He then beat Davison Figueiredo, who's in the top five. And now he's gonna fight probably Umar in my opinion. I'm not really sure because Umar's I don't know what the fuck Umar's doing. But regardless of that, Peter Yan, he saved himself from a three-fight skin. Yeah, he looks better than ever. He looks improved. And the fact that he isn't a cuck like Sean O'Malley over here, it's just good enough in my eyes to just call him an absolute Chad. He's also 5'7", outboxing everyone in the division, who's like, what, probably around like 5'8" or 5'9". I don't know. Peter Yan, he isn't that big and he isn't that tall and he doesn't have a long reach. Despite that, he's going toe to toe with a lot of these guys in the division, in the striking, and I believe that's what makes Peter Yan a complete Chad in my eyes. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys generally agree with my list. I heard about Dustin Poirier fighting Max Holloway, as well as Kamaru Usman fighting Joaquin Buckley. I'll react to those fights in on a later time, probably tomorrow before Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates, because I was in the middle of making this video when those announcements dropped. But regardless, I'll have that video out for you guys tomorrow, and leave a comment down below. Again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.